September holds a great deal of meaning to me. It's the end of summer. We have the memories of 9/11, and it's the month I celebrate the anniversary of being wed to the amazing Robin Romeo, all of which I'm going to touch on in my poetry tonight. Spalding. I heard the satisfying thwack when the Spalding hit the broom handle. It flew a long, high arc toward the Quas's roof. If it bounced and landed in the street, it was an automatic double. With the bases loaded, that meant 2 runs in the game. If it landed in the gutter, we wouldn't see it again till late fall when Mr. Quas would toss it to the ground with all the others, faded, rotted, and useless as clumps of wet leaves. Please bounce, please bounce, please bounce. Because if it didn't bounce, it was an out, and we lose. End of game, no do-overs, touch black, now you can't take it back. It meant 75 cents and a mile bike ride to the candy store, 3/4 of a mile if you cut through the path between the 2 houses that backed up to ours and took Surrey to Aberdeen, Aberdeen to Kent, and then Kent to Hillside. Joe screamed, "I told you we should have gotten a Pennsy Pinky!" Nobody paid attention to him. All eyes followed that ball's trajectory. But I knew he was right. The Pinky only cost 35 cents, which left some money over to get some pixie sticks, nickel nips, or a wax whistle. If it landed in the gutter, no great loss. Economically, it was the smart move. But the pathetic plunk it made, even when you hit the sweet spot, just wouldn't cut it. Sure, it was okay for monkey in the middle or hit the stick or even curveball in a pinch, but it was not good enough for the last game of this season. The Pinky's slick, smooth service just couldn't compare to the rough, substantial feel of a Spalding in your hand. A Spalding sailed when you threw it, flew when you hit it, stuck when you caught it. It was worth a week's allowance. So, over Joe's objections, that's what we bought. That summer had been long and glorious. Carefree weeks of playing ring-a-levio, hide-and-seek, flashlight tag, long after the night was lit only by a couple of street lamps and the blinking tail ends of what seemed like thousands of lightning bugs. In June, our 8 years together at elementary school ended. 9 for me, Joe, and Kenny, if you counted kindergarten. On Monday, we'd start high school. Start our not-yet lives that had been waiting patiently for summer to end, for childhood to end. And so on this hot Saturday afternoon of 12 innings, the last 3 of them ties, we put our hopes on a rubber ball flying through a suburban sky toward an unknown fate. We put all our hopes on where and how that Spalding would land. Please bounce, please bounce, please bounce. Thank you. I got 2 people here. Okay. On September 11th, I was living on Long Island, and this is called 30 Miles East. The landmarks are gone, and we are lost 30 miles east. Not knowing which way to turn, we turn on the TV and sit by the phone. Tommy is downtown, in from Colorado, staying at the Marriott. At 0 hour, the need for pancakes and coffee put him at ground zero plus. When the buildings fall, he loses everything he brought with him but his appetite and his life. Debbie works below 14th Street. She hasn't checked in. She can't be reached at the office. We dial her cell phone over and over. Your call cannot be completed. All circuits are busy. Finally, a call from a friend's apartment. She'd walked 80 blocks north in high heels. Safe, if sore. I have to pick up my eldest, Sarah, from work, but my youngest, Dan, won't leave the house. I'll be okay, they say. I want to stay home, they plead. Please, let me stay home. I wait alone in a parking lot for Sarah. The scream of a jet pierces the silent sky. My heart races. Can't be, I think. All the planes are supposed to be grounded. I look up and see an F-16 streak by. My phone rings. "I hear a plane!" Dan screams. "It's all right," I say. "It's one of ours," I say, trying to comfort them with a line stolen from an old World War II movie. We are lucky. Many are not. Huntington Station, Greenlawn Station, cars in parking lots waiting for commuters who won't be coming home. Around the country, people react to the news like new parents frantically counting fingers and toes, checking, are we all here? Are we all safe? Asking, what will this newborn world bring us? 30 miles east, landmarks gone, lost. Thanks. Home. 4-bedroom, 2-bath Cape, maple in front, sycamore in back. Up a flight of stairs on the second floor, 2 bedrooms, one to the left, one to the right, a full bath straight ahead. I remember me in the bathroom sitting on the side of the tub crying after I was caught forging my mother's signature on a test I failed in 3rd grade. Sitting on the side of the tub crying because I had been sent upstairs to wait until your father gets home. My mother wasn't mad. She was disappointed. I remember sitting on the toilet on a midnight run. I held it as long as I could, but when you gotta go, you gotta go. Sitting on the toilet on a midnight run, terrified to look out the bathroom window right next to the toilet. Terrified I'd see the witch I just knew would be floating there staring at me. Note to self, no more Twilight Zone right before bed. Up a flight of stairs on the 2nd floor, 2 bedrooms, one to the left, one to the right, full bath, straight ahead. I remember standing in my eldest brother's bedroom, the one to the left of the bathroom, standing there on Christmas Eve, having been awakened from a forced sleep because Santa won't come if you're awake. Having been awakened from a fitful, maybe pretend sleep by the sound of sleigh bells and the front door slamming as my parents yelled to us from the bottom of the stairs, "Santa was here! He just left! Maybe you can catch him flying away in his sleigh!" Standing at the window in my eldest brother's bedroom to the left of the bathroom as my 2 brothers point to the sky saying, "There he is! Do you see him? You see the sleigh? You see the reindeer?" I didn't see, but they convinced me it was there. I wonder now if they wanted to see it as much as I did. I remember sitting on the bed in my eldest brother's bedroom to the left of the bathroom, listening to records while he stands by, waiting for my reaction. It's a test. Sitting on the bed in my eldest brother's bedroom to the left of the bathroom, listening to records by Firesign Theater, while he stands by, watching my mind being corrupted by psychedelic silliness, shaping my future more than he could have ever imagined at the time, introducing me to my first and only mind-altering drug, to my lifelong drug of choice, a demented sense of humor. I fall off the bed laughing at the sound effect of someone knocking on a door made of oleomargarine. I passed the test. Up a flight of stairs on the 2nd floor, 2 bedrooms, one to the left, one to the right, full bath straight ahead. I remember watching my father making a hard right at the bathroom door, rushing into the bedroom I shared with my middle brother, watching my father make a hard right at the bathroom door because we didn't quiet down, because we made him come up there. My brother and I pretending to be asleep, waiting for the spanking, prepared for the spanking, and when it comes, hearing my father's cry of pain and surprise as his hand strikes the books we've placed down the backs of our pajamas. My brother and I try to muffle laughter into our pillows, failing. My father trying to muffle laughter into the palm of his stinging hand, failing. I remember fighting with my middle brother in the bedroom we shared to the right of the bathroom over who would ride first on the horse we didn't have, or who would fly first in the spaceship we imagined, over WMCA versus WABC, Murray the K versus Cousin Brucey, over the Beatles versus the Stones, over me trying to sleep versus him playing Hendrix full blast after midnight, over me trying to sleep but catching him sneaking out after midnight, over him threatening me if I told, and the arguments turning into screaming matches and then into violence over more serious things, over things I knew nothing about at the time. I remember watching my father make a hard right at the bathroom door, rushing into the bedroom shared with my middle older brother, watching my father make a hard right at the bathroom door because my brother had told my mother to fuck off, watching my father beat the shit out of my brother because he told my mother to fuck off. Now, nothing was hidden, nothing was muffled, no one was laughing. Up a flight of stairs to the second floor, 2 bedrooms, one to the left, one to the right, a full bath straight ahead. I remember my sister sitting at the top of the stairs crying, holding a metal box of Band-Aids. Band-Aids used to come in metal boxes with a hinged lid that clicked open and clicked closed. I remember my sister at the top of the stairs crying, holding a metal box of Band-Aids she had clicked open. She showed it to me, crying. She handed it to me, crying. I looked inside. Inside, a cotton ball, a carbon-covered spoon, a book of matches, a needle, my brother's life, my family's future. Inside a metal box of Band-Aids. I remember after that I moved into the basement, down a flight of stairs and to the right into the finished basement with a wet bar and lots of storage. I remember home. My anniversary with Robin Romeo was September 3rd. This is called Offline. You gave me a book when we met, one you recommended in an email, one you enjoyed and said was being released as a movie in a week, and maybe we could see it when it came out. I took that as a good sign. You bought it for me the same day of the required meet and greet between online connection and official date. You bought it at the bookstore where we met in the cafe, where we met IRL in real life. Do they still say IRL now that people's life online is more real to them than any they live off? Question for another time. I never told you this before, but I saw you buying the book. I didn't know it was you at the time. I just saw a woman from the back pick up a book, Derailed by James Siegel, the one you told me about, and I wondered if it was you. Quite the coincidence if it wasn't. Then I worried if maybe it wasn't such a good sign. Derailed before we even met? As it turns out, I had nothing to worry about. You say when you first saw me, I was wearing a cape. I wasn't. Though after more than a decade, you still don't believe me. You say you were captivated by the man in that cape, so I'll let it go. For me, it was squirrel milk and yeah. After introducing ourselves and settling into an awkward seating arrangement, the last 2 seats in the cafe, you in a stool and me in a chair, though it never felt as if you were looking down on me, I asked what you wanted in your coffee. You said, milk. I said, I checked, and all I had was squirrel milk. I don't know why I said it, but I did. And without missing a beat, you said, I wonder how they get the milk from the squirrel. We bantered back and forth about the logistics of milking squirrels. We talked about it for a while, probably longer than anyone should, until you declared that squirrel milk just wouldn't cut it. I asked if black would be okay, and you smiled and said, yeah, just like that. You looked me right in the eyes and let out a breathy, yeah. And suddenly, I couldn't catch my breath. So I caught yours, and that was it. I have no idea what we talked about over tea and black coffee. Obviously, this was years before you gave me the ultimatum of drinking coffee or getting a dog. But that's a story for another time. But when we were through having met and greeted and fallen in love, I asked, may I call you? And you answered, I will be awaiting it with great anticipation. And you did, and I did, and here we are. Still looking for that cape in the closet. Still trying to figure out how to milk a squirrel. Still in love? Yeah. Thanks. Love and COVID. There is no social distance between us. Where do I begin? Where do you end? There's hardly any distance at all, really, in our love. No masks between us, no reason to hide, nothing to protect against. I see you and you see me as we truly are. Lately, I've struggled with the question, is it right to write about love and life and light in this time of hate, death, and darkness? The answer that makes the most sense to me is, it's not only right, it's required. Thank you. We said thank you. He told us you had cancer, and we said thank you. He was a nice man, a caring doctor who phoned us to say, you have cancer, and we said thank you. On speaker at the table in the dining room. I'm pretty sure it was just to get him off the phone. We were no longer his responsibility. That now falls to someone else. So what else was there to say? And what do we say now? Hospital. You got sick again. We promised no more hospitals, knew we couldn't keep that promise, pretended we would. Ambulance and lobby and elevators and ER and ICU and ping ping pings and beep beep beeps. We share smirks at sing-song and fantasizing nurse voices asking the same questions. Funny how they require answers from you, but have none for us. Do I answer for you too much? Am I supposed to let you answer for yourself? What if you forget something important? Am I to consider your pride or safety? Self-conscious mansplaining be damned. I err on the side of safety. And now masks and vax cards and strict visiting hours and fear of COVID all added to that of MRSA, sepsis, monkeypox, and bed sores. And will this be the time you don't make it out? You love the attention. You don't deny it. You gift your smile to the EMTs, the ER nurses, the interns, the techs, at least for the first hour or so. This will pinch a little, they say, looking for your evasive veins again and again. You poor, sweet, patient pincushion. I tell them you have a high tolerance for pain, but a low tolerance for discomfort. They all laugh, but only a few get it. Those become your favorites. But you hate the wait. It's only a matter of time. In our lifetime of hospital visits, I've gone from staying overnight to anxiously watching the clock. COVID put an end to endless visiting hours, and my back and stomach and increasing lack of patience makes it less likely I can go the distance, the spirit being willing, etc., etc. You see it, and when you can, you send me home, and I protest, but go gratefully. The phone tethers us. No sleep for either of us, because how could there be? When you coming home, I don't know when. Cats in the cradle and the silver needles and plastic tubes and air-puffed cuff and cardiac wires. Are you getting any better, they ask? How can we tell? Do you feel better? Then what? Check the machines, check the stats, BP, pulse ox, EKG, X-ray, blood work. Are you getting better? Is it up for us to decide? Is it up to the hospitalist, the virologist, the respiratory specialist, the cardiologist, the nurse aide, the cleaning staff? Get us out of here, but not before you're better. Are you getting better? And then the half-lie false hope about being released tomorrow. And then the promised day of release, and the one more day, one more bag of drip, drip into your arm, and then another tomorrow. Wait for it. Wait for it. The doc, okay, got to file my report, busy with other patients after lunch, one more test, the paperwork, waiting for the word, waiting for transport, getting the car, carrying all the stuff we brought in to make you more comfortable, as if comfort was possible. The wheeled escape out the door. And home again, jiggity jig, to another nudge nudge, wink wink, familiar promise of no more hospitals. Where will I go? When you are gone, Where will I go to see you? The kitchen? The living room? The bedroom? My dreams? I hardly ever dreamt of you, because I could just put out my hand and yours would be there to greet it. Who needed dreams? Dreams were for rehashing the past or writing poems I would share with you in the morning. Where will I go to see you? My mind? My heart? My broken heart that cracks more with each memory? There is still some time and maybe hope and a hand to meet mine, still that sweet slumber smile laying next to me, but when all that is gone, when you are gone, when the house is empty, the bed is empty, my hand is empty, my heart is empty, where will I go to see you? Too young. We are too young to be the topic of the tales I tell of old couples living endgame, aren't we? Younger than springtime, as the song says, but here we are, thrust into free fall, drain of color, brittle brown before our time, you'd think. But when it's your time, and it's ours, it seems. You're too young to have an old wife, you say. You're too young for staggering steps and deathly diagnoses, I think, and keep to myself. But when you're in pain and your body is weighed down by a gravity you have no strength to resist, when it shows every indignity, reveals your mortality, it cannot be denied. Because that's what age is, isn't it? Mortality revealed. I feel ancient watching your suffering, do all I can to relieve it. Fail, fall into visions of earlier times, the fabled life passing before the mind's eye, visions of a bleak future without you, a life I do not want to live. I silently scream your name, but somehow you hear it, with ears or heart or soul, and smile, that smile you say, just for me. Then pain and age, past and future disappear, leaving only you, the one I love, the love I see when I close my eyes, the eternally beautiful, eternally young, eternally now, ageless you. Thanks. In your sleep. Sometimes when I wake up in the middle of the night, I stare at you. I hope that doesn't sound too creepy. You see, you smile in your sleep, a beautiful, peaceful smile, and I just can't look away. Sometimes you wake up and catch me staring, then your smile widens to a grin, and you say in a slumber-sweetened whisper, "You're loving me, aren't you?" Yes. Yes, I am. Thank you very much.